to match and click on next. Here we'll enter in the list price, and again, next question to move forward. Now we have the listing and sale commissions. These can be entered as a percentage or as a flat dollar amount.
3.
On the next page, we have to enter in the listing date and the expiration date. You can do so by using the calendar picker or with a 2-digit month, 2-digit date, and 4-digit year. You can see here if the dates are off, you'll get an error message and you can go back and correct that to move forward. Next, we have the year built for the property. We have a drop down to select the source of the deal. And finally, we have the seller's names. The system will default to just one seller, but if you have more than one, you can add a second one and then fill in their information.
Hi.
If this next feature is enabled for your brokerage, you will now have the ability to order a natural hazard disclosure from where the automatically uploaded into your Skyslope file. To opt out, simply click on No Thanks Sky and move forward. Next, you'll have one final page where you can confirm the details listed here for your listing. At this point, you go back and make any changes or click on Create Listing to formally have the file generated. Here we are on our checklist of list of required documents, and now all we have to do is upload our documents and search for that buyer. And that's all it takes to create a listing with Sky. If you have any questions, reach out to our 24/7 support team. Happy Skysloping!
Angel, do you have to put a password and ID or just get Skyslope because you're already into Ravis 365? It'll
automatically syncs. Yep. Okay. Automatically syncs. So I'm in the admin dashboard. It's a little bit different. However, you're still going to click the same thing. Okay. For when you get to your listings page, you're going to have a little icon that says create a listing. I just click the green button. Okay. But the same information is going to be asked. You guys are all familiar with the Romeo form, correct? All that information? Okay. All that information is what you're putting in here when you're taking a listing. Instead of typing it in that form and sending it to the admin manager, you're going to be typing it into here and it's automatic. Okay. So you're actually saving some steps and not duplicating anything. So right now, let's enter a listing. We're going to enter the listing and you're following the prompts. It's very intuitive.
You want us to do it? Or?
No, I want you to, you can, well, if you want to, you can, or you can simply follow. I'm going to be in watch. Sometimes it all depends upon how you learn. So I'm going to take Cecilia. She's the agent. And I'm going to put in a property address. I don't know if I have to pick, yeah, I'm just going to pick whatever comes up. What if this will be a valid property, of course, we type in the address and you say, let's go. It's going to be a residential listing. And let's push to rental. Next, we're going to put in a price. Oops. Well, whatever. Okay, next question.
Big one.
It's a big one. And like Skyslope said, you can put in the percentages, be whatever it is, and you click next. Everyone following, very intuitive. Answer the question, follow the screen. We listed this July 1st, and the expires July 31st. Next, the property was built in 2015. The source, the most common source will be a personal referral, but of course select whatever is, whatever is in the drop down that's applicable. Okay. Next, seller's name.
Sorry.
We're helping Tom Brady sell his house. Okay. This is what corporate in Connecticut recommends. If you have each seller, of course, according to the system, each seller needs their own email address for security purposes and phone number. If you have two parties, it can be Tom and Giselle Brady, or you can put Tom Brady and Giselle Bunchin. Okay, it can be two different names. But you just got to keep it in one line. We don't want you to really add an additional seller because it messes up the system.
So that
Okay.
would allow you to just keep the one.
Keep the
email
primary
address.
person, okay? You can have two parties, it'd be Tom and Giselle Brady, or again, Tom Brady and then put Giselle.
Where do you put Giselle's email?
You don't need, if you want,
Her email.
Really?
you want her email address?
No, what I'm saying
Well,
is
that's what he
both
said, you
both
don't-
parties need to sign.
Yes, okay, so no, this is, okay, so Skyslope is your file cabinet.
Yeah.
We're not signing from Skyslope.
Okay,
So this is just data in.
okay.
And you only want the one email address, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for the seller right now, yes.
Yeah, okay.
So this is where it's different with because we're not signing through Skyslope. That would be signing through zip forms and DigiSign, okay? So this is just data from the Romeo sheet to put in here. We're gonna hit next question. And if everything looks correct, you're gonna click create my listing. When this happens, this is where your checklist comes up. And all of you have been informed, there's what they decided to do, which is awesome, is they put all the required forms at the top now. They were filtered before, so all the required forms are at the top. And if you go back to contacts, Lou, this I think will answer your question. You certainly can put in like, this is one seller, and then you can add another seller here, okay? In order to edit this seller, you click the button edit, because it's not taken the property address, because some sellers do not, this could be their vacation home. So you just click on copy property address, and it will autofill what I put in, okay? And you click save. I'm gonna go back to my screen here. Oh yeah, okay. So, see this email address? It takes the address and creates an email specific to this folder, to this file cabinet for you for 888 Main Street, okay? And what that is helpful with is when you guys email to Brenda and I, the documents, what you're going to do, instead of emailing us, you're going to email them to that email address, and it's going to go right into the file cabinet. And I'm going to show you right now, okay? So what you first need to do is, look, this is my email. This would be your email account, and I was emailed some documents from the listing or the offer. And I need to get them somewhere. I need to get them to the file cabinet, to this folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the email where the documents are, and I'm going to forward. I need to forward them to that account. So let's go back to Skyslope and see this email address. I'm just going to right click and copy the email address, go back to my email and paste it. Okay? When I do that, you're going to see the attachments right here and click send. Everyone knows how to forward an email? Been forwarding documents to us, right? Go ahead.
Every transaction has a unique email address,
Yes.
buy and sell.
Buy and sell, yes. Well, if you're working with a buyer, it will have its individual email address. Working with a seller. So when you make that listing, when you create a transaction, that's still the same with the offer
So that
document.
email address is a folder for that transaction.
Correct. Yep. So let's go back to Skyslope. We just emailed those documents into Skyslope. And you're like, where are they? See the tabs at the top? Listing, contacts, checklist, documents. Let's go here. And if you click on documents, they're right here. These are, so if you think of it this way, these documents you would email to the admin manager. We don't need that anymore. You can email it right into the folder you just created. They're here. And again, when you get emailed documents, aren't they like all together in one PDF? Right? So if you look at the checklist, they're all split up. We need them as individual items. This is the easy part and the magical part. We're going to go to the documents, and we're going to select this document, and then we're going to hit split. What this does is it allows you to split the documents. So the first document, I think, was the agency. So when you start to type in, it will ask you what document you want. So you're just going to, this is an agency, so we're going to click this, and it's page 1 and page 2. We go to, now let's keep scrolling. Like you can make this bigger. You can just scroll this way, okay? You can do whatever you want. You can use the scroll bar, just as long as you get to the next page. But we want to get to page 3, which looks like it's the American Home Shield warranty. Okay, and we're going to just type in AHS. There it is. And that is page 3 and 4. Yep, page 3 and 4. This making sense to everybody? Okay. The 5th page is the Trulia Zillow disclosure. Okay, for Realtor that's required. There's that one. Okay, so then that's only 1 page, so we're going to leave 5 there. 6 is the listing agreement. Oops. Ravis listing agreement. So I believe that's 4 pages. So let's scroll down and make sure. Yep, it's up to page 9. And the last page is the lead paint. Okay. And lead disclosure. This making sense to people, right? Yes, say yes.
Are those forms all
Sure.
signed? Are those forms all signed?
Yes, these are forms are signed.
Those aren't signed, I can see it from here.
This is a sample.
Okay, just check.
So
One more question.
because you wouldn't send unsigned documents to Brenda, right?
Yeah, because I don't think it kicked back in my
That's
face,
right.
that's why.
So you want to make sure those documents are signed, whether they're signed in .loop or you sign them in zip forms with DigiSign. Okay. You can either email them. I know you email them to me directly from .loop. Each time you just select them and send them to me after they're signed, and then I click on a link. But you can. I wouldn't forward those from .loop because .loop doesn't to Skyslope, because Skyslope doesn't have an account to press open these documents. You would need to download them to your computer and then just email them to that email address for the folder.
So Skyslope isn't an automatic signature
No,
application?
no.
Oh, so you can't get signatures in Skyslope?
No, Skyslope is a file cabinet.
Oh,
Okay, that's all it is. Zip forms is the form management, and then you use DigiSign to sign. But we're just sticking to basics right now to get you to use file management with Skyslope. Okay, so if you still want to use .loop for now, Lou, until we get to the zip form, which is the next class, you're going to find this very easy. So you wouldn't email the documents to me, you email them right into Skyslope. And I'm just going to click, now that we split all these, I'm going to click split and assign. And what it's going to do, it's going to go back to that checklist and it's going to show you that the documents were placed in there.
So split automatically separates them as opposed, because I separate them, but it's a pain.
Yes, split, well, you have to name them, the document,
Right.
and select the pages, and it will automatically
Okay.
split them. Yep. So as you can see, we do have the agency disclosure, it's pending. And so on your side, so again, I'm looking at the admin side, it says pending. It wants me to accept it or reject it. On your side, when you do this, assign it, on your side, it's going to say in review. Because I'm going to open it on my side, I'm going to open it up and make sure it is signed. If not, we'll kick it back.
Yeah, anyway.
How do
Fine.
you know, I just took a listing. How do you know? Do I email you and say, Angel, I've just done da, 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 and it's in Skyslope? Or do
Skyslope-
you get some other alert?
Yes, Skyslope, as Lewis often sent me a message, what is this email? Skyslope will auto email on us when
Okay.
transactions in the
Okay,
paperwork's in there. Okay, it'll auto, so see, we're missing some required docs there. Agents have been emailed, your file is missing, and it comes from Skyslope, not Brenda.
Great.
Okay, so it'll tell you what you need. And I left it open like this so you would know that if I just click on this paper clip, it'll open up the document, and as you can see, the agency is here. Okay. Yeah. You can put in miscellaneous documents. Someone else had asked me, well, if I can I name it? There is a non-MLS in there. So you put the home inspection in there. You can just name it home inspection. It doesn't have to be in a spot. It'll create a spot bar for the Word document, for the document you attach.
And Angel, would it, does it have to be a PDF format? But if it's an email, if you've been going back and forth with a client and, you really
Yeah.
want to, this is an email or correspondence that you want to preserve for down the road, could you just forward that email directly into Skyslope and allow it to be preserved there?
Yeah, so good question. The text of the email is not there. but it can be Word. Actually, what I've learned is, you know how I have pictures on the bottom of email signatures, and there's a picture? It actually takes the picture, and that's where it gives it a different name, but it doesn't save the content. I think you just need to copy and paste it into a Word document and put email notes from transaction, and
Okay,
it'll go in. So it will take the attachments, it won't take the verbiage, the words
okay,
that I'm aware of. I think you gotta copy the words into a Word document and then forward that email in.
send that.
Send that to
Okay.
here. Okay? So if you want, there's also, John, when you, at the top here, there's that log tab. If you want it, like, you can enter a note at any time, and we can, copy the email here. Too, we can just copy the email and post it here, and then click save, and it'll give me a note.
Okay,
So there's a log note here as well. It just
so like
won't
a
take.
phone conversation that you want
Yeah,
to
there's a phone
document
conversation.
and preserve in that
Yep.
transaction.
So instead of, if it's not in an email, you just gotta click enter note, and it'll go right in there.
But you're still gonna have a file, in Microsoft, you're still gonna have a file folder
Yes.
for that property where most of your emails get saved. This is not gonna eliminate that.
No.
I don't believe.
It could, but
It
it's
could,
just an
yeah,
extra
everybody's
step for
different.
us if we do it. Right?
You could, it's up to you, okay? So let me go, so that's about creating a listing and splitting your docs. Let me just go from the beginning, let me see here. Oh yeah, so oftentimes if you don't want, you don't have to email them in. If you have Skyslope open, you can drag them in. I think from Macs can do this, okay? If you're on your desktop or from an email, you can drag your documents, put them into a file. You can do that with Skyslope as well, okay? Sometimes if you go to the checklist and you don't see it there, or the document tab, you might have to refresh your browser so it updates. Everyone know how to refresh your browser? Okay, upper left corner, there's a little circle. All right, and then we split the documents. You guys have the handouts of all this for a refresher if you need it. Do you want to watch the 2 or 3 minute video on how to split a document? Okay,
Like popcorn.
because sometimes I talk fast, so I'm gonna let you watch this lady.
It's a movie.
Hey Skyslopers, one of the best tools available in your account is the Split and Assign feature that allows you to split PDFs page by page and assign them to the checklist in just a few clicks. Let's say you get a DigiSign document back as one large PDF. This allows you to break it up quickly and submit the documents to review. Let's take a look. We're going to start by going into the Manage Listing section so I can pull up my file. Scroll down here and single click on the address to open. Now that I'm in the file, I'm going to go to the Documents tab. And here I can see that I don't have any documents uploaded. I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate our new drag and drop uploader. Here I'll click on the document and not release, drag into the website, and drop here anywhere within the blue dashed border. We can see the upload progress on the bottom, and there we go, document successfully uploaded. Any PDF that's uploaded into the system is going to have the split button available on the right side of the page, so we'll click on that. And now the split window will open. On the right side, we can see a preview of our document. We can click on the arrows to zoom and use the scroll bars. Here I can see I have my listing agreement, so off on the left side, I'm going to enter a listing agreement and click on the best match that populates, so I can add it right to that item on the checklist. Now I'll use the arrows to see how many pages the document is so we can enter the proper range so the document's split correctly. Our next document here is the seller advisory. Again, I'll use the arrows to see how long this document is. Ends on page 5, so I'll go ahead and do from page 4 to page 5. Our next document here looks like the MLS sheet. Here we go, MLS printout. This one's just 1 page, so I'll leave that as is. And our next document is some pizza. So that looks like it's going to go into the miscellaneous item. Get rid of this bottom row here because we don't need it. Now that we're done, we'll go ahead and click on the blue Split and Assign button in the upper right-hand corner. And just like that, we've split 4 documents and assigned them right onto the checklist. And now we can go to our checklist to see. Here we can see we have 4 documents pending. You can hover your cursor over the paperclip icon for a quick preview to make sure all your documents ended up in the right place. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and add a comment to clarify any miscellaneous documents. Pizza, of course, and click on Save. That's pretty much all it takes to split documents and assign them to the checklist. If you have any questions, reach out to the support team and we're happy to help. Happy skyslipping.
So you can call the support team anytime you want. You don't have to go back through anybody. Okay.
You can call me, Lou, it's okay.
No. I meant sometimes they'll say, you gotta go through the admin for that, but any
yeah.
agent can call support.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yes, yes. Okay. And to John's question, I don't think you can split Word documents.
You cannot.
You can't.
I tried.
Yeah, I don't, it has to be a PDF.
Send out with it.
Okay, so save it as a PDF. And you know, PDFs are more secure because people can also Word documents. So if you're working with a transaction, it's better for PDF anyway.
So I have a question.
Yes.
And I think that's the
So we're doing it
obvious. I just did a couple of them. And
Yeah.
I just did one last.
I hear you saying.
Mhm.
That's the buyer side. It's
Okay.
a transaction.
Mhm.
When you look at the buyer's contract.
Yep.
It's not required.
Right.
So.
We're gonna go on-
We need it. So why it's not required anymore?
Okay, good question.
So is it gonna be flashing next time? Or I think I saw it before and it was required, but now that
Well,
something changed.
So on the Romeo sheet, it's required for William Raven.
Okay.
And we need that data to put into the Romeo system, okay?
Okay, so we still complete with
Whatever's on the Romeo sheet, you should put the data in here. Skyslope is a platform that's used by everybody in the world, not just William Raven. So they have like a generic platform. They've been really good to William Raven with some of the things we've asked to be required. And I think they're working on that, aren't they, John? To make some things that we want you guys to make as required, like, because that is important. We need that contact information. So we can't just alter their system because it's worldwide, okay? But we're working on
That's
it.
the case.
Yeah.
No, I thought that.
Yeah.
was the case.
No, good question, good question. So, I'm gonna go back here. We split the documents. So, and the goal from William Raven is to have everybody working on this, okay? Because what happens is, whoever creates the transaction or creates the listing, as you can see from the log, you saw my name, that did all the work. They're gonna see whether it's me, Brenda, or you, the agent, putting in that information or creating the transaction. And we've been told that the person will be called if it's not the agent. Okay, so that's why we're here to help you. And anyway, we're gonna have a one-on-one later, Cecilia. So, and again, you can make dummy transactions. Pretend you're gonna sell your house and create a listing. You know, for a buyer transaction, pretend you're buying $1 million house, whatever. Just play with this. It's okay to play with this because Brenda and I will receive an email that you created a listing. Obviously, we look at the data. If it looks like it's not a transaction, we're not going to do anything with it. Our job is to push it over to Romeo to corporate. So we will not do that until we know. We can't do that until all the paperwork's in and certain items. So it's important to learn this.
Will you communicate with us through?
Yeah, no, it's okay. We walk with Stephanie Barber's office.
Yep. Okay.
So am I doing everything through their account?
So you're a
or-
team.
Yeah.
There's a different team platform. I think there was isn't there some learning? There's
Ours is
Some
gonna be
additional
different.
training?
some additional training for the team.
Yes, yeah,
support?
there'll be additional
Yeah.
training. Actually, I just forwarded it to those teams this morning. Coming up, beginning next Monday, there'll be.
Okay. Yeah.
additional-
You know, it's going to be very similar, but it's just from a team aspect, right?
Yes,
Okay. Be very similar.
So next Monday.
yes, the 28th.
Where is, okay. So we went through the listing, and I know this is a lot of information and I talked fast, but you can, what's really great is, like we can go to support anytime. These videos are there. We're now going to look at how to create a transaction. So we're going to look at what, if you have a buyer, how do you have to create a folder here, okay? Where's my, here we go. Is it, again, these videos are great. They're only 2 and 3 minutes long, so.
Hi Hi folks, let's cover how to create a transaction in Skyslope. This is typically what you'll want to do if you're not representing a seller, but instead representing a buyer. So you want to create a property transaction representing that potential sale. If you're an agent, you'll have a create transaction button right here on your front page. If you're an admin, you would have to go to the manage transactions page and find a button there. So here as an agent, let's click that button to get started. Let's click it once. This window comes up. First thing it's going to ask you for is a search for the address. This is just so that you can search the address via one of your integrations and autofill some of the fields. So I'm going to start typing the address here. Now notice it searches automatically as you type. So I'm going to keep typing until I see the match that I want. And there it is, right here in Sacramento. Once you see that match, single click it to select it. It'll search the rest of your integrations and tell you if it's found more information. So if we were integrated with zip forms and this file, we created it in zip forms, we'd be able to select it right there and pre-fill some of the information. But we don't, so we're going to go ahead and use the integration with Google Maps that everyone has. So click on that, and it'll pull over whatever it can about the address from Google. Notice anything related to the sale is not filled in, so we're going to have to enter that stuff manually. So everything that red asterisk next to it means you need it in order to progress to the next page. Nothing marked red can be skipped. So top right, you've got your office. You may have this option if your agent account is integrated with multiple offices at your brokerage. If you're a single office, then you won't have this, so don't worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and choose Sacramento. Right below that, we got our checklist type. This is very important. This essentially dictates what type of property this is going to be and what type of documents are going to be required for it. So go ahead and single click on that and see what we've got. As you can see, you've got various options here. Every office is going to be a little different. So we chose a lot land sale. Now over here in the MLS, if you have it, great, punch it in here. If you don't have the MLS number, don't worry. You can typically put NA or some zeros to fill it for now. Scroll down, make sure more red fields look good. Sale price, let's click here and punch in something. All right, so once you've got your number in there, what I like to do is hit the tab key in my keyboard just to jump to the next box. It confirms what we just typed. So now we're in year built. Since this is a lot land, it's not required, but I'm going to go ahead and punch in a date anyways. Right above that is type. This is another important option you want to select. This is more so just for the file status in Skyslope itself, not really related to the checklist. So if this was a listing we converted, it would be a listing sold. But since we're just representing a buyer only, we're going to go ahead and just choose sale. That's all we need. So click that once to select it. Now let's go back over here to the left and pick up where we left off. Source, choose how you found out about it. Should be on here. I'm going to go ahead with personal referral. Page refresh, so let's scroll back down and pick up from the office lead. Chances are it's a no. Now I've got the closing date. Don't panic about the closing date. This is not final. This can be changed later. Chances are right now you don't know exactly when it's going to close. So I'm going to click this closing date field and just choose my estimate essentially to derive an acceptance date. Also, you can estimate this as well. This can also be changed later once you have the confirmed acceptance date. All right, everything else looks good in red. We can hit next at the bottom right corner. All right, it took us on, so we know we weren't missing anything. Now we're on the contacts page. Of course, we want to start off with the seller. We can use the search bar right here to type in a name and find someone that we've used before. So there's Tony. We've used his information before, so it was stored. We can click his name. Everything fills in. All that was really needed here was his first and last name. That was just optional. We hit save when we're done. The button changes to edit. That's how I know we're done. So we hit next to continue on to the buyer. Same thing here. Let's go ahead and punch in a brand new contact. Put it in for me. I'm buying this house. Put my first name, my last initial only. Now phone number is required for the buyer. So let's go ahead and punch in a phone number here. Again, if any of these fields is something that's required that you don't actually have at the moment, you can punch in placeholder information. As you can see here, I just put in a bunch of zeros. That'll suffice for now. Hit save when you're done. You could add a new purchaser if you wanted to, the second person, maybe husband and wife. But we're done, so let's continue on to title escrow attorney. Now there's 3 contacts here, but only one of them at minimum is required to move on. I'm going to fill in a title, agent that I've used before, Natasha, pre-filled information, hit save, move on to the next one. Agent representing the other side. So who's representing the seller side? Remember, we created this as just a transaction. So somebody's probably got the seller. So that was Steve. We used him before, so we punch in his information. We didn't need to fill in his office, company. Everything looks good. Hit save. That's now done. And once those top 4 have been done, you've now got a submit button. Click that to finalize this page and move on to the next one. So let's continue. Now we're on the commission page. This is the last page that you need to fill out and submit before the rest of the file is unlocked and you can get to work. So scroll down here and see what's required. Notice the sale price already carried over from that first page where we entered it. Sale commission is what's required here. It's the only thing we need to punch in. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 3 there. When I tab, notice that it does the math for me on the right. Everything else looks good. You can add in additional breakdowns, TC fees and whatnot. We're good with what we have, so let's hit submit. And there you go. Your file is ready. Notice now you've got more tabs along the top. Checklist, documents, log, etc. So here is the requirements based off that checklist we chose on page 1. What we can do now is just go through, see what we need. We can go to the documents page, start uploading our paperwork, and start getting everything ready for review. Well, hopefully everything went according to plan for you. If you ran into anything that didn't get covered in this video, please chat, call, or email 24/7 support. Myself or someone else would be happy to help you out with that. Good luck.
Okay. The submit button. Someone had asked me how we notify. Once you put in all that data, the submit button is on the last page, and that's how Trevor and I notify. Okay. That we know you have a file, that you have signed paperwork.
On that first page, all has all that required information.
Yes, the checklist page. Yeah.
Can you go to the next page or start to upload documents without
Yes.
all that, filling in all that information?
Yep.
Like if you wanted to upload agency disclosure fires, just to start a file.
There are some required fields.
Well,
Well, that's kind of what I'm asking, so.
so you have to, so you know, like the pages, well, actually, we're gonna create a transaction right now, but, you have to go through the intuitive steps of the page by page, put in all that data, and then it'll bring you to the checklist page. And now the checklist page,
Okay, right, so my question is, you've got all those required fields. If you just want to start a file for a buyer and upload documents like the agency disclosure fire contract, you can't do that because they haven't selected a property yet that they're gonna buy.
that's correct, right, yeah, right,
I figured that'd be a good way to play with the system.
you're right, because either you have those forms and zip forms already signed, or downloaded to your desktop, I know what you're saying, I didn't quite understand the first time, or they're in Dot, yeah. Yeah, you have to have a property address.
But you
Okay.
can make one up, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go back here. So let's do a hands-on, create it, like, manage listings, we create a listing, this is an admin board, but you guys will see, create a transaction. And that means you're working with a buyer. And again, we're gonna search for an address. I'm just gonna put in 15 West Central, Western, here we go. Okay. What's really good to have is the MLS sheet in front of you, because it's going to have the MLS number. It's going to have a lot of information that's going to be asking you for. So to have that MLS information in front of you and your paperwork is really key. And again, they did mention
So
if
I
you.
believe, Angela, if you start typing in the address,
Mhm.
it would pull
Right.
through all that.
Right, and obviously this property is not for sale, but sometimes it will map if there's an MLS listing.
Yes,
Yeah, I'm not, yeah, correct.
yes.
Okay, so that will make it easier too. And again, all the items with a red asterisk, I think you have to click on this. Come on. It's not letting me click. Oh, you know why? All right, let's go down here. You need to fill in all the required information. So you just click wherever you want to click for your bill. This is where it's good to have your MLS sheet. The type is a sale. Why won't it let me click this? Oh, wait a minute, I know why. I don't have an agent. So see, I'm bouncing around here. So it's really, I guess it's really critical when you see this red asterisk to complete something, okay? So let's just do Kate, and now it'll let me select the checklist. It will tell you, obviously it's trying to tell me something, right? It will tell you if you're missing something. So I'm looking at all the items with the red asterisk, making sure it's all here. Lose down several non-MLS ones. In the MLS number, you can just put NA or non-MLS. We'll figure that out, okay? But you can put that in there as well, even though if you don't have a number. We're gonna go next. When we click next, it asks you for the seller or the landlord. Oops. Okay. We don't, obviously we know the address. You can copy it again. These are not required in here, but we are working with Skyslope to get these items required because we need them. If you like to still complete the Romeo sheet, please do so and grab the information from that. Okay, you should put in this information. Where to go next? The buyer. I'm just going to fill in the required spots for now. You should fill in the address and the phone number. I know Brenda and I have often emailed you guys back and said, hey, thanks for the client saying we need your email and phone number because we need it. Okay? Click save. We're going to go next. What's really important is sometimes this the attorney can, sometimes parties don't have attorneys or you don't know the attorneys. That's okay. Or you may not know them yet. You can put in TBD. Okay? So oftentimes we put in TBD. Oops. Here you just got to put in like a fake number to get through it. But then you can just do TBD and then tbd@aol.com. Unfortunately, you know, that's what you need to put in the beginning. Because sometimes we don't have a closing attorney or that we don't know who the attorney is yet. You can always go back and change these. Okay? I'm going to click save. I'm going to go back to the top and click next. When we click next, we have the other agent. And you should put in, you know, all their information. Okay? William Ravis. Okay, we should put in their email and everything too. We're going to click save. And at this point, so the lender, William Ravis wants to select who the lender is. Okay, so we need that information. Having the pre-approval letter uploaded into your checklist is key. I think it's a required doc now. So we can grab it from there. You can just grab it from there and type it all in. Okay. If it is a cash deal, you would just check off here, and then you can click next. It's just going to go down to home warranty and miscellaneous. At that point, I'm not going to click submit because then I'll get it. But when you click submit, it comes to the admin manager, and then the transaction is created. Actually, you know what? I want to do that so you can see what happens. So, oh yeah, when you do that, it wants the commission. Oh, actually, and we'll autofill the gross commission to you so we know. And if there's any referrals or any information here we need to know, this is important. And then, of course, any referral information so that we can document it properly. You click submit again. And this is when it opens up for the checklist so you can upload the documents. Again, see the email address? You have an email address for this loop to upload the documents. And then you can just go to documents and upload. Do you want me to show you how to split again, or how are you guys doing? Pretty good, right? What kind of questions do you guys have?
If it's a net sales price, you have to go back in it afterwards to change the commission.
Yes, and you can do that.
Okay.
Yep. A lot of these tabs will be right along here. Okay. You can just go in and change it here.
The next question is, you don't do any of this until it's an accepted offer?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and that was a good question you asked because you have the paperwork ahead of time and you want to put it somewhere, right? So you don't lose it. Yeah, you need to hang on
Just
to.
to get a head start.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And again, if you want to create a dummy transaction, you can. But then you got to go ahead and change it all again. You
So
sort of
you're
double.
finding it to dummy transaction. Is that what you're saying? Sorry.
No, you know what? No. So, no, like, pretend to dress.
With the buy or the sell side, once you have a signed purchase and sale agreement, where does that contract go?
Goes in here.
So you just add it.
Correct. So here's the checklist. Let's go down to these required documents. Let's see, there's, oh, this is the offer. So we're not,
Okay,
oh, wait a
I
minute.
understand, it just.
Yeah, it's, oh, there it is, right there, the second one, purchase and sale. There's a
Okay,
place
didn't
mark.
see that yet, great.
Yep, and again, I gave you all a list of all the required documents. They're always also in here, they're sort of at the top. I recommend going in and playing with it. There is a way, if you do use zip forms, to select them and assign them to these spots, but you have to have a Skyslope file cabinet open for it. All right, okay? So you can work with a zip form. The dot loop you have to download. documents and then drag them in or email them in. But that's,
Does due diligence have to go in here? Or due diligence, you guys?
It's not required, and it's not there.
yeah, no, I think no, whatever.
It's
So
required
the
from
due
us.
diligence form,
It's not there.
Yeah.
They
no, I
might
know
work.
you
So-
communicate.
So should we go through whatever the Romeo sheet asks?
yeah, the Romeo sheet's still important. They are getting away from that.
So we have
But
this.
right now, all that data, I'm sorry, all that data
Is not there.
goes into the screens, keep following the screens.
The Romeo form has to be filled out and sent to you guys still?
There is a place for it, but if you create the transaction, we won't ask for
But
Okay,
it's
so if you-
required.
Then we'll be doing
Huh?
it.
It is required.
it. It is required, they're gonna be, again,
What's the point of-
it's duplication though. It's duplication, so right now, it's practice, so if you wanna create the Romeo sheet and then type everything in, you can, or if you type everything in, it was from the Romeo sheet. We'll see if you guys, if the agent, when Brenda and I go in and take a look at your account, if we see everything that's been in there, we'll just, see, so I'm on the admin side, look at this. See the Romeo sheet? I can click not required. And it won't be required, so I won't ask you for it,
You have power.
Will you have the power to do that?
just for the Romeo.
Yeah.
But, but again, it's still around for a couple more months until agents have, committed and are doing this. Because as you know, when we create a transaction, create a listing, we're like asking for names and addresses and phone numbers and data for the listing and MLS hours. All of that is on the Romeo sheet. Okay, so if you put that all in, that's duplication. Duplication, so that's, and corporate does realize that, but until the agents put all that information in, they still want the Romeo sheet. If I see that, well, again, if an admin manager sees that you have all the data, they're not gonna ask you, well, I'm not gonna ask you if I have to.
And then due diligence gets emailed to you.
Again, due diligence is not a required form, it's for your own information and for what you've done.
It's required by Ravis to send it to you guys.
Send to Brenda.
Okay, so I don't have that, we have a checklist, the form is available to you, for you to do your job, but it's not required, the due diligence is not here. However, that doesn't mean you don't have to do it, you can just see the documents. You can put any document you want in there, upload any document you want for your file. You can upload the, home inspection report, right? The home inspection report,
Due diligence still has to be sent out to you guys.
Yes.
yeah, I'm not, I don't
Yes.
know about it.
Can we upload it to Skyslope, or do we still email it? I'm trying to avoid, I'm pretty sure can we upload that to this?
Yeah.
You just email it, I would take that unique email address and just forward,
So put it in Skyslope, don't email Brenda directly,
correct.
Don't email Brenda anything,
Really.
put it right in there.
Yeah,
which I do.
I wouldn't email Brenda or anything.
yes, yeah, I think that's a nice clarification. Everything can just be sent right into,
And
the
just like you
transaction.
said, the email notes, you would send us the email notes, right? You keep them in your file cabinet, email everything here. Okay? Easy peasy, right?
Sure.
Thank you for coming.
And